Following a first draft back in 2003, well, we were able to get lucky, and so by 2010 we've had a bill in Parliament. We're talking about the Information Bill. It's been in Parliament for the last 4 years, but despite efforts by the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative and the Right to Information Coalition, well, nothing so far has been done over the last 4 years. These are raising concerns for not only us media practitioners, but also those who want to get access to information and use public information adequately. Well, we have in the studio to have a lengthy chat on the current stalemate and why it is crucial for us as a country to have an Information Act or law. And I have in the studio Mina Mensah. He is the regional coordinator, the Africa regional coordinator for the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative. And the initiative is the project secretariat for the Rights to Information Coalition. And we have the project coordinator in the studio as well, Ugonna Okigwe. I hope I pronounced it well.
Ugonna Okigwe.
Okigwe.
Yes.
Right. Ugonna Okigwe.
Okigwe.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And she is a legal practitioner. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah. And the project coordinator for the coalition.
Yes, I know. That's important. Project coordinator. I have to start with you, Mina.
Okay.
Are you disappointed that since 2010 nothing so far has been done for that very bill that has been gathering dust in Parliament, our Parliament, Ghana's Parliament?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers. I wouldn't say nothing has been done. Currently, I wouldn't say that. But I guess if it's taken us this long, well, in a way, I think that we could have done better. But better late than never. I think that some progress has been made on it, especially with the current Parliament and with the current Parliamentary Select Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. A lot of work has gone into it now. It's been reviewed by the committee. So far, some progress has been made. And I think that the committee has made a lot of recommendations, very good one at that, looking at the African Union model law, and then also at options or recommendations that the Coalition on the Right to Information Ghana has made. So if all those recommendations that the committee has made, when presented to Parliament as a whole, if the whole House is able to take all those recommendations, then I guess I will smile in spite of the length of time it's taking to get this far.
From what she's saying, Ugonna, we're almost close, or we're close.
Well, you could say that. You could say that because it's a huge step to the experiences we had with the 5th Parliament, where the bill was referred to the Joint Committee, and they promised us they were going to work on it, but they didn't do anything, and until that Parliament lapsed. So now we are with the 6th Parliament. The bill, was referred to the Select Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, and they've had healthy engagement with us, and they've proposed recommendations. So we are getting close to having this bill passed in Ghana, I would say. Yeah.
With your consultations or discussions with either the members of the committee that are looking at it, etc., or with the parliamentarians, what have they been mentioning as far as the tenets of the bill are concerned that they feel that would perhaps also need to take a relook at?
Oh, we know the part of the things they were considering were the issues we raised on the bill, and some of those issues include the broad exemptions. If you look at the bill from clause 5 to up to clause 17, thereabout, what you see is exemptions. Everything in the office of the president, cabinet, vice president is exempt. So we thought that it was too broad, and that if you are talking about exemptions, it should rather be narrow and subjecting it to specific harms tests. So when we were engaging with Parliament, they agreed with us on some of those issues. The issue of timelines, the issue of the appeal process. So the committee saw reasons with us that if you're going to have a law that it will take you almost half a year to get the information you're requesting, then we don't need it really. So I mean, we had, like I said, it was a good conversation where they saw that really this bill has to be reviewed, and passed. So indeed we can have, an effective law put in place in Ghana. So those are some of the discussions.
Okay, Mina, yesterday I was just monitoring one of the international news stations. There was a public information that was requested back in 1983. They just got it this year. I mean, it was just a conversation between Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher of the UK about an invasion in Guatemala as well as in the Bahamas, so to speak. So it takes time, especially if it's bordering on national security and things like that. But how crucial is it for the ordinary person, or if it's organizations or groups, to have access to information, legit public information?
It's very crucial. The information you are talking about, I don't know if it's exempt information. If it's exempt information, then maybe that is why it took so long. But then even with exemptions, our bill has very broad exemptions. The best practice is that exemptions should be framed in such a way that they should be very limited, they should be specific, and not broad. And the fact that something is even classified does not necessarily mean that the whole document is classified. So I don't know the background to that story. I don't know.
It's a classified information, actually.
So then I guess
it was just declassified. And so the request was granted.
Okay, if it's just declassified,
and even that's in pieces. Yes.
Well, because if an information is classified and it's declassified, we assume that it's the whole thing that is declassified, unless of course it's stated categorically that it's part of it that is declassified. So if you look at it in that context, then you would say that, well, it was exempt information. So if it's exempt, especially when it comes to national security. Because as much as the idea or the guiding principle behind the right to information is that every information should be made available. But then if you are going to limit or exempt information, you should tell us why you are exempting it. And then you should put it to a harms test. That is the public interest test. So if I release this information and it will harm public interest, then I will not do it. That is what the law requires. So, as I said, if it's classified information, maybe they had very good reasons and they assigned reasons. They told people that it's classified for A, B, C. It's like the right to life. If your life is going to be taken away from you, you'll be given reasons why your life should be taken away. And it should be by law. So,
just to add on to how the question you asked about how crucial it is for Ghanaians to have this law. You know, if you think about access to information and how much time and energy you spend when you don't have information, maybe you will get a clearer picture. Imagine that a road construction is being done around you. Like now they are doing the Tweed Fair Road up to Nungwa. And you live around there. You are the one that is inconvenienced. So maybe they've created some shortcut for you to move around. Now, wouldn't it be important to you to know when that road will be finished? Because you move on that road, you spend your fuel on traffic, you kill time just to be on the road. But if you had an idea of when it will finish, then you know, okay, at least we have 1 month to go, 2 months to go. So it gives you some form of confidence. And then again, the trust that you have in your public institution is because you have information. So I always tell people, imagine when you don't have a schedule of when light will go off, for example, and then it goes off for 2 months. And then we don't know when it's coming, you don't have information. It causes a lot of inconvenience. So those are some of the things. If we are able to relate RTI to our daily life, then we see the need of information to the ordinary Ghanaian.
As I still with it, why do you think that it has delayed in our parliament for this while? I remember there were reports last year, it's been laid before parliament and all that. And I have consistently heard it over the last year, the last 12 months. It could be passed before Parliament went on recess, and now Parliament is back, etc. And I'm sure we'll jump onto the next wagon after January, and hoping that it will still be passed.
Well,
even though we're closer, but still not close enough.
Yes, but I mean, if you talk about why it's been delayed, I mean, there could be a lot of reasons. One of them may be the misconception that this law is going to witch hunt some politician. People not appreciating why the bill has to be put in place, you see. But one thing we forget is that, as taxpayers, there are basic information on governance that helps you and I you know, to be able to participate in democracy. If you talk about participating in democracy and you don't have access to information, how do you participate? Even before you can vote, you need to know those who are contesting for elections anyway. You need to know their portfolio, what they've done, so then you can choose rightly. You know, so I think the whole idea about corruption is what is probably scaring the politicians to think that if we put this law in place, somebody is going to come and find out what we are doing. But really, if you are sincere and you're transparent and you're not doing anything funny, you will give out the information. And even when you give it, people will sympathize with you that probably these and these are the reasons why you have you are having challenges in delivering that social service. So so I think it's all about misconception, which to me is not really, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense, because when you have people have more information, they will even make excuses for you in times of, you know, when challenges arise. Yeah.
The bill, as we have it in Parliament, for example, if you look at the UK law and you look at that also of the US, the overriding interest of maximum disclosure is very much inherent. Is it inherent in ours as well?
No, it's not. Well,
is it weak or not?
It's extremely weak because of the broad exemptions, the blanket and broad exemptions, and then also the timelines. So it's like there is proactive disclosure in the bill, but if you say that every information from cabinet is exempt, information from the
Defense Ministry,
the security services is exempt. Meanwhile, you are saying that there should be maximum disclosure. You have exempted those aspects of the information. It weakens that clause. So our bill, when it comes to that, is not as proactive as you should be. Because, for example, a lot of the information that, when it comes to accountability, a lot of the things that could go wrong would be probably from cabinet, because they make the main decisions. And
the decisions are also taken from there.
Exactly. And so if everything there is exempt, are you telling me that even the color of the president's chair is exempt? I mean, that is basic. But then when we talk about connecting it to our development, like she said, a lot of people don't connect information to their right to development. For example, we sit here. If there's gold here and you don't know that there's gold, you are sitting on something that can move you from poverty to wealth, but you don't have access to that information. You don't know. That is how vital information is. It can change your life from extreme poverty to extreme wealth. So people should look at it in that form. I think that most people see it as only to do with accountability of officials. Yes, officials do owe us accountability, but let's connect it to our everyday life. If you don't know there's a covered gutter here, it's covered, but the bolts are very weak, and you don't know and you walk on it, you fall into it. That is information. If you don't know your name, how would you know your entitlements? If you don't know where you come from, and there is property in that family, how are you going to get it? So let's connect it to that. One issue also that a lot of times government raises, that there's so much information available. Yes, there is so much information available, but in what form is that information? If you put information on farming on the internet, how are you expecting the farmer in the village who has no access to a PC or to the internet to use that information? So information should be packaged in a way that will be meaningful and accessible to you. That is what we are talking about. Not just the availability of the information. Yes, I've put the information there, but where do I look for the information?
How's the accessibility, like as stated in the bill? You go and you apply, and how long would it take? Is there stipulated time within the bill?
Yes. So, for example, our bill says that when you bring an application and requesting for information, it takes you 21 working days for the institution to say whether or not they will give it to you, and then they will come back and give. Then, if they are going to give it to you, it will take another 14 working days for them to give it to you, and then if the information you applied for is for large volumes, you know, they are going to go through some large documents to give you the information. It takes them another 21 working days. And then there's a 90 days discretion that the minister has to extend the time to give you the information. And then again, they have another 30 working days for you to be notified of the period of extension. And we are saying that this is ridiculous. It's almost half a year before you can get the information. And so in this time and age where information is churned out in seconds, you know, why will it take almost 150 days for information to be released.
So how are you remedying that?
Yes, so we proposed that the timeline should be reduced, and the committee, I mean, agreed with us on that, and they you know.
So it's not been truncated to?
Yes, well, 14 days. At least 21 days is now 14 days. Instead of even working days, now days, not working days.
What do you envisage could be witnessed in the operationalization of the bill if it becomes into a law? Because we've had other laws that have been passed, and very much as far as operationalizing them or implementing them have been fraught with a lot more weaknesses.
That's a very good question to ask, because
it's hypothetical though,
yes,
but we just have to look at what the factors are in our environment and the behavior patterns towards such laws.
Yes, you know, in the first place, the way the bill is now would have been very difficult to implement it, just like the Domestic Violence Act and the Disabilities Law, because the way it was framed, it was difficult to really implement that. If the bill is the recommendations is accepted, it makes it easier. But then culturally, people have certain attitudes. For example, we have existing laws that support people accessing information, the Local Government Act, for instance. But people are unable to use it because of, one, ignorance. Number two, because of fear. I'm going to give you an example. We are doing a project where people are asked to go and access information from various agencies and bodies, and they're having a lot of problems. A clear case is something that happened in Ho, a village outskirts in the Volta region, where somebody went to a marketplace as part of the project to ask them what their problems are. They said sanitation. So he went to the district assembly to inquire as to what the assembly is doing to solve the problem. And they called the BNI on him. They called the BNI on him that why did he go to the marketplace in the first place? He should have gone to see.
Because wants to make government look bad.
Well, you are a DC and you want to make your government look bad?
No, because the person asking the information
will
make the government look bad.
And that's a challenge that we have. And then there's this culture. We have a culture of secrecy. We are in a culture where questions are not asked. If you ask a question, you are too known. These are things that we need to work on. People need to understand that information is a public good, and taxpayers pay for the generation of that information. Government is keeping that information in trust for us. Also, public servants need to be educated, because you know what, because of the culture of secrecy and the secrecy oath that they sign, even basic information they are unwilling to give out. So that is what the challenges will be like.
I mean, futuristically, there could be situations where, for example, a public official, they're supposed to declare the assets before they enter into office. And after 4 years, somebody wants to access information as to, after he left office, what was the declaration, and to want to make an assessment of what he gained while in office, etc. And these could pose challenges to the status quo, and there could be resistance in giving access to such information, even though under normal circumstances that should be harmless.
Yes, but that's why we're saying that the law should be passed.
Well, the law is passed.
So that you can go to court and challenge the refusal to release that information.
And then the courts then will compel.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is happening. I mean, I could give you an example in Nigeria. So same things are happening. You know, there's a particular case that interested me. A retired general requested for information to know the allocation from the federation account to a particular local government area in Benue State. And they refused to give him. He applied to the special advisor to local government and chieftaincy. And the request was refused. And then he went to court. And, you know, the court...
You mean allocation?
Yes, he wants to know the allocation from the federal account to... It's just like the District Assembly Common Fund.
Is it not in the budget?
Yeah, but I mean, he wanted to know specifically from what, you know...
What has happened?
What has happened,
in terms of what the transaction has.
Yes, so he was asking for within a time frame from January 2010, yes, to July 2014, you know, and they refused. And then he went to court, and the court ordered that they should give him up to even October 2014, and then how the monies were spent. I mean, this was what the court ruled. And so that tells you that any Ghanaian has the right to walk into a law court and ask, if the law is passed, of course. If that application is refused, you can ask the court to compel the officer to give you the information. So those are the benefits of
From all the things that we've read about the bill and the education that the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, as well as the Rights to Information Coalition, has given us over the last decade or so on this bill, is going to improve governance, accountability, etc. But in an atmosphere where public officials are very much unwilling to disclose information, not necessarily to the public, but also on their activities, how do you hope to counter the exigencies or the challenges you're likely to face, or we are likely to face when it is passed into law?
That is why we are requesting for an independent information commission, because the job of the information commission will be to educate, to train, and that should help. And then education, the media. Education. We need to educate people, public officials. And then there's also the Independent Information Commission is also supposed to serve as an appellate body. So if you go and request for information and you don't get it, you could appeal to the commission instead of going straight to court. And there are also sanctions in the bill that if you refuse people information without giving them reasonable reasons, then you should be sanctioned. So there are sanctions in the bill, and that should help if people are educated on that and they are aware. So it's education. You know, when you give birth to a baby, it just doesn't become a man.
It takes some time.
It takes some time. So it's a process.
A woman, not a man.
Okay, a woman.
Oh, a man.
It's a process.
Be gender friendly. All right, I know you are. I know you are. Okay, so we want you to be part of the conversation, and so that's why we have posted on the screen our numbers for. I always don't seem to get these numbers, and so let me just watch the screen and then mention them to you. 03022116991 or 2. Tomorrow, if I don't get it, I need to be surcharged. Okay, 0. Okay, I'm already getting buses. Okay, all right. So now, Ugonna, where can we say that? Well, this is the time frame for the passage, as you've been promised, and so Ghanaians should expect the law at this point in time, either next year or the end of next year or the beginning.
Left for me, I would say the law should be passed today with the amendments.
No, yes, I know you interact with the members of parliament, so you should know how far.
Oh well, so far I think they've worked on their report. I think they have a draft report right now. It's yet to be laid before the whole parliament for them to deliberate on it, and then the steps would be taken from there.
Okay, so, and the calls have started coming in. We have Abbas. Abbas, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Tamale.
Okay, good that you're calling us. And what do you want to know about the Right to Information bill, or what do you know about it?
Okay, good morning to you and your guest.
Morning.
Good morning.
What I want to know is that can an ordinary person go to any of the agencies? I'm talking about the MPAs and whatever and then you ask for information. Let's say, like the lady said about the sanitation in Volta. Can you just go, if maybe there is allegation of corruption in your district, can you go to the GC or the MCE and ask him to give you a detailed information about the issue alleged?
Okay, thank you, Abbas. Who do I pose this one to? You.
Okay, you know what? Even now, it is a constitutional right. The right to information is not just a human right. It is a constitutional right. It is in the Constitution of Ghana. So if you're a taxpayer or if you live in this country, you have every right to go to your DCE to ask him. The problem is if you want to enforce a constitutional right now, if he refuses, you need to go to the High Court to enforce that. So yes, you have every right. Even now, the local government law also encourages accountability. So yes, the common man has every right to go and ask for information, even now.
Okay. From Enchi, we have Entry Boisiakon. Daniel.
It's me, Daniel.
You're calling from Enchi?
Daniel Cole. Yeah.
Okay, this is what I want you to do for us. Please, the TV you're watching, can you just lower the volume so that we communicate? I mean, man to man.
Okay.
And please tell us your name and then where you're calling from, and then please give us your...
My name is Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the right information, bro, I think it is very, very important. Quite some time ago, we had a case at the High Court, which it did not go out for us well. But for us to get the judgment, we could not get the judgment. They refused to give us the judgment. And what the judge said, it was totally contradictory. It was totally different. And that has come to law. So the right information bill, as my landed friends are saying, it is very, very important. And to be instant.
Are you a lawyer?
I'm not a lawyer.
The way you said my learned friend, I was presupposing that you're a lawyer. Yeah, but thank you very much. We've gotten the import of what you were saying. And then I'll take Mensah from Tema. Mensah.
Yes, Ruan, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Mensah. Please, your comment, or if you have a question, go ahead.
Very good. I work with a private security and investigating company. I realized in my work with some of the governmental agencies is the fact that they are not willing to give information due to their corrupt attitude and the way they use government funds. So this bill, even it's a shame that it's not been passed till now. It's a shame. And I think Parliament should take that shame boldly, because the bill has been in Parliament for over 3 years now, if my memory serves me right. What will it cost this country for us to get into offices and ask for what our monies are being used for? It's a shame on them. The whole Parliament should take it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Well, thank you very, very much, and thanks for your comments. Now, Ugon, I have to start with you. Yeah. The gentleman who raised the issue about getting a judgment, after the judgment, he wanted a report of the judgment, etc. Yeah. Does it fall in line that you can just go and access it?
Yes, if you are a party to
any sort of public information, you say?
Yes, but what I'm saying that he's a party to a particular suit. So he's part of the...
He's privy.
He's privy to that. I mean, if you litigate in court and
even now he should have been privy to
exactly, and you have its judgment. The judgment, the copies of the judgments are made available to the litigants.
But to the point where many of the callers were getting seem to be focusing their minds on corruption, governance, transparency, rule of law, etc. Couldn't these pointers be some of the reasons why we've had delays? Because there is some level of phobia by the politicians in Parliament towards this whole bill.
But that's the point we're saying, that this whole phobia is what is also creating suspicion, that you have something to hide. That is why you're refusing to put the bill in place. But really, let's not even make a general statement. It may not be that they have something to hide, really. Exactly. Sometimes people are not even corrupt, but it's the culture of secrecy. The whole idea that you have to give somebody information, you feel you are... Sorry, there's a call.
Just
so you feel there's it exposes you. Okay. Well, there's really nothing.
Samuel.
Hello.
Yeah, you're calling. You're calling us from Cape Coast, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm calling from Cape Coast.
Okay.
Good morning.
Please lower the volume of your sets, and then you can make your comment.
Okay. Yeah. I'm very much happy with this the information bill. And what I want to say is that it's quite unfortunate that we are in a country where we cannot have access to information. Here we are with even ECG, sometimes we have on and off information, and then we can't even program our way. And I'm very happy that Parliament is passing out this bill, and I think it's going to help us very well. But we can't think of it. What will make someone not able to, reveal information to people that we deserve to have? It's information that we are entitled to. That helps us, the youth, even to help know what is going on in Parliament. So if at the end of the day we can't have our leaders giving us information that will help us to progress, to excel as a country, then what is wrong? What is actually going on in our government? Thank you very much. So I'm very happy with such a program.
Well, thank you very much, Samuel, and he will be our last caller for the morning on this very subject of the Right to Information Bill. Now, your concluding comments.
My concluding comments. What we are saying is, yes, the Parliamentary Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs has made recommendations. We cannot assume that the Parliament as a whole will agree to the recommendations. We cannot even assume that Cabinet, the President will sign, although he said immediately it comes to his desk he will sign. So we are calling everybody on board. Please, this is a people's power law. Help us advocate so that it will not be like it is us who are doing it.
Ugona.
Yes, tomorrow we are having a meeting with professional bodies, associations and religious bodies to have a discussion on access to information and how it affects national development. So I will urge everyone, and of course let me use the opportunity to ask the associations to also speak out when we have engaged some of them one-on-one, and then we think that it's relevant to them. You know, they need the information for their business to thrive. So that's, I mean,
it's all part of the advocacy,
yes,
and the consultation with various interest groups.
Yes, exactly, for them to appreciate the need.
Thank you very much. And the lady who just spoke is Ugona Ukegwe. I hope I pronounced the name well. If
Fantastic.
I didn't, okay. And she is the regional or the project coordinator for the Right to Information Coalition, and we have the Africa Regional Coordinator for the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, and Mina Mensah is also my next guest as well. Thanks for joining me, Mina. I hope to have you again sometime in the studio. We'll have a lot more. And you, please join us same time tomorrow on the AM show. Bye-bye.